Intermittent fasting has become one of the most popular health and longevity trends. But if you're a midlife woman, you might be asking yourself, is that the right thing for me to do right now? That's why we're here today. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of various fasting tactics, and I'm going to share with you my favorite fasting strategy in midlife. The most common intermittent fasting tactic is called time-restricted eating. This is when we shorten our window of eating during the daylight hours and we extend our fasting window over the night hours, anywhere from 12 to 20 hours of fasting. Now, we've seen a lot of pros come up in the research. Some include our metabolic functioning. We become more insulin sensitive, less insulin resistant, which is key because that gets disrupted in midlife. We also see a reduction in inflammation and therefore pain. We find that we can move so much easier. We have more energy, both physical and mental, and we have better weight loss success. Now, this is provided that we close the kitchen earlier. So that window of eating needs to be pushed forward to realign with our circadian rhythms and close it off. The research is showing 3, 4 o'clock. That's not necessarily realistic for most of us, but when we close off that kitchen at 3 or 4, we have more metabolic benefits and we have better weight loss success. So bottom line, close that kitchen as early as you can in the evening. Now there are more advanced fasting tactics like alternate day fasting, which is exactly what you're doing. You're water fasting, no food every other day. And on the alternate days, you can eat as much as you want. There's a modified alternate day fasting, which instead of water fasting, you consume less than 500 calories on your every other day fasting days and then eat as much as you want on the other days. There's also a tactic called 5-2, which means we are eating ad lib, whatever we want, on 5 days of the week. And for those other 2, we're restricting our calories to less than 500 a day. Those should be non-consecutive days. Now, if you're like me and you're listening to that, it's like, whew, that's too much. That's too hard. That feels too restrictive. And you're right, because in midlife, we're already dealing with fatigue. We're dealing with hormone changes, significant stressors. So even though fasting is considered a hormetic stress, which is a positive stress for longevity and health, it's one more stressor. So if we're already in that less stress resilient mode, this might be that added stressor to throw us over the edge. So it's not for everybody. Some of the potential cons, if we are prolonging our fast too long or we're fasting too aggressively, like that alternate day fasting, we might see an increase in cortisol because again, that's that added stressor on the body. What does that mean? More belly fat gain because that's where cortisol stores fat. We're going to feel more fatigued. We may be waking up in the middle of the night because our blood sugar is dropping and that's a stressor. We're going to have more common nutrient deficiencies because we're just not getting enough nutrition in on those days. Our thyroid gets dysfunctional because that's a stress on the thyroid. And we might notice muscle and or bone loss, especially if we're just not getting adequate protein in as a general rule. So what's probably best midlife as a general fasting tactic would be that 12 to 14 hour fast and then a 10 to 12 hour feeding window, again, as early as possible. So start within an hour of waking, close that kitchen as early as you can, and that's probably good enough. But now let's talk about my favorite fasting strategy for midlife women. It is a periodic fast. It's called fasting mimicking diet. So it's where you're still eating, but you're getting the health and metabolic benefits of water fasting. So this is a 5-day structured, low calorie, low protein, but only 5 days vegan diet. And there's been a lot of research behind this fasting mimicking way of fasting, and it has shown things like autophagy, which is cellular housekeeping. We kick out the old damaged cells, including immune cells and autoimmune cells, and we repair them with new regenerated cells. How cool is that? We decrease that inflammation, so there goes the pain, there goes better mobility. We have more insulin sensitivity and also what's called metabolic flexibility. So instead of staying in sugar burning mode, we can get into fat burning mode much more effectively, which is what we want to do in midlife, right? Because we see that uptick in body fat. We're going to see more weight and body fat loss, in particular that deep abdominal fat, the belly, the menopot, because that is our most inflammatory tissue, and we're driving inflammation down with this fasting tactic. We're increasing our energy, physical and mental, and we're also setting ourselves up for healthy aging and longevity, as well as tumor suppression. So they've really done even research within cancer, seeing a cancer prevention and also a cancer recurrence prevention with this type of fasting. And what I love most is we can continue to eat colorful, diverse, nutritious food while still getting those health and metabolic benefits, while our body is healing, repairing, and optimizing. And it's only 5 days a month. Now, the research is showing that the long-term benefits happen if you do 4 consecutive months of only 5 days a month, and then every quarter from there. And now let's come down to the caveat. Fasting is not for everyone. Now, we talked about in midlife, some of those cons, right? Especially if we're prolonging or we're aggressively fasting. But in regards to any type of these fasts that we just talked about, if you have an eating disorder history, if you're underweight, if you are in active illness, if you have that excessive stress load, not ideal. Even pregnancy and lactation. Now, maybe if you're early perimenopause, that might be present for you. But typically by menopause, that's not a capability of ours, right? So there is no perfect fasting strategy for every single midlife woman. So it's best to work with a licensed healthcare practitioner who is skilled and understands fasting. And if this topic really resonates with you and intrigues you and you're ready to experiment with fasting, I've got 2 options for you. One is to message me below for a personalized one-on-one fasting strategy session. Or number 2, join my fasting reset program. That is that 5-day-a-month fasting mimicking program where you are preparing your own nutritious whole foods for those 5 days. You're going to receive all the resources, including the menu plan, the grocery list, the recipes, and full guidance and support along the journey. Please like and subscribe my channel. Share this video with any woman you know who is also interested in fasting. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.